This groundbreaking event is being organized by the Conferences for Women, the largest network of women's conferences in the country. Register now and gain access to some of the world's top women leaders and experts on career advancement, leadership, and personal development. Speakers include The Handmaid's Tale author Margaret Atwood, award-winning actor America Ferrera of Barbie, Top Chef host Kristen Kish, author and musician Michelle Zahner, Vanity Fair editor-in-chief Radhika Jones, and many more. There is power in numbers, so secure your ticket and be a part of history. Visit www.conferencesforwomen.org. The big game is here. Keep things sizzling with Beats and Watson. Fire up the grill with perfectly smoked premium franks and sausages. Or enjoy endless sandwich combos with fresh sliced meats and cheeses in a variety of bold flavors. There's something for everyone in the family. Plus, plenty of protein-packed snacks. Head to DeatsandWatson.com to find a ShopRite store near you. Deets and Watson is a family thing. Premium meats and cheeses since 1939.
Science is not an opinion. People come before pipelines. It's not too late to act on climate. At Earth Justice, we hold these beliefs to be self-evident. We're a national legal nonprofit fighting for your right to a healthy environment. Our 150-plus lawyers represent clients free of charge because now, more than ever, the Earth needs a good lawyer. If you believe what we believe, go to earthjustice.org today.
Have you heard about our singles event for ages 40 and up? Well, get your tickets today because time is running out. Our Love and Life Connection event is Tuesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Hosted by Carol Riddick and Dr. Marquita Williams at Bayou in West Philly. This event will feature fun activities where you can meet new people and possibly make a love connection. To attend the event, you must register on our website, wordradio.com. Space is limited and we're almost at capacity. Registration is free, so join us for a fun evening of mixing and mingling for singles ages 40 and up. Tuesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Bayou Lounge and Bar, 5025 Baltimore Avenue. To attend, you must register online at wordradio.com. This event is brought to you by City Winery and the Pennsylvania Lottery in partnership with Bayou Lounge and Bar. Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Family, here we are, Tuesday, February 6th. Do you believe it? I don't. Oh, but we are celebrating both the month of love and Black History Month. Oh, I love that. I love that. So, as we continue our Black History Month celebration, I have a Black History moment for you. Yes, I do. Today's Black History moment comes in the form of information. As always, did you know the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which is now called the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, also known as ASALH, organized the first National Negro History Week in 1926. Did you know that? And about 40 years later, in the late 60s, the holiday developed into Black History Month. And the first federally recognized Black History Month was observed in 1976. Did you know that? Did you know that? According to the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the organization's founder, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, chose to hold the first Negro History Week during the second week of February because that's when both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass were born. How about that? Well, family, that's today's Black History moment. Did you know? Did you know? Happy birthday to all of our love bugs that are celebrating. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Sending you oodles of celebratory love for your birthday. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So, family, you know what I like to do before we get into the crux of everything? I like to do a roll call, if you will, or check in. So, if you are joining us by way of social media, let us know. Or share a comment or two, or a few, send us some love. You can even give us a call. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 866-361-0900. Nick and I, we accept the love any way you care to share it. So, and family, for those of our family members who are joining us today with hearts that are heavy or whose lights that are shining just a little bit dimly, I just want you to know that you are not alone. And to that fact, I'm sending you extra love and hugs on behalf of your entire tribe and village. Okay? We need you to know that you've got this and that we got you. That's what we need you to know, okay? So, family, I know you just heard the commercial, but I'm going to ask you again. Have you heard about our singles event for ages 40 and up? That's right. Well, be sure to register today because time is running out. Our Love and Life Connection event will take place at Bayou Lounge and Bar in West Philly on Tuesday, February 13th from 6 till 9 p.m. And it will be hosted by yours truly and Dr. Marquita Williams. Family, this event, it will feature fun activities, okay, where you can meet new people and can possibly make a love connection. You never know. You never know. So, to attend the event, you must register on our website, wordradio.com. That's all you have to do. But you should know that space is limited and we are almost at capacity. Know that. Put that in your pocket. Family, this event is brought to you by City Winery, the Pennsylvania Lottery, and in partnership with Bayou Lounge and Bar. So before we jump into everything, I just want to acknowledge some of our family members that are checking in. Nasir, brother Nasir Butler, hi there. He is checking in and he's sending peace and blessings to everybody. You know we receive it and we send it right back to you. Nasir, thank you. Malcolm is checking in as well. And there's my message. He's watching and listening from West Mount Airy, sending a good evening to everybody. Good evening to you too. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliment on my glasses. Thank you. Y'all, I have a thing for glasses now. I just realized this is new for me, a newfound love. So thank you all for the compliments on my glasses. Oh, shucks, y'all. Oh. And Willie is joining us as well. Hey there, boo. Willie Matthew Williams is joining us. And I know that you were, and let me tell you something. I'm just mad that I didn't get to see you more than I did. Eric is joining us as well. Hey there, Eric. Just Rick. And he shares it's Tuesday. It's day 2 of Love and Life. What? Yes, it is. Of this week. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm happy about it. I don't know about you. I'm leaving the number up there for a minute. You see that? So you can call. You see that? Because I've missed you all so much. I said it so many times yesterday, but I'm going to keep telling you because I miss you when I'm away from you. In any event, family, let's get started. I want to introduce you to our first guest this evening. She is a top marriage and parenting author and speaker. She's appeared on several media outlets such as The Today Show, Wall Street Journal, Focus on the Family, Fox and Friends, and the 700 Club. That's just to name a few, okay? She's also the host of the Happy Home podcast and the author of several books, including 31 Days to a Happy Husband and 31 Days to Becoming a Happier Wife. I know you can't wait to have this conversation, right? Me neither. Family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Mrs. Arlene Pellicane. Hello there, beautiful.
Hey, Carol, good to see you. I like the glasses too. I know, they're so nice.
Thank you. You all, I don't know if I can take these compliments. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a new, I'm telling you, it's really a newfound, like, I don't know. I have so many pairs of glasses.
It's a whole new world now, right?
It is. I have a ton of readers, ton of them. But Arlene, welcome. Just so happy to have you here and to have this conversation that we're about to have. First, can you tell our family members a little about you?
Yes, I'm so happy to be with you, Carol. I am married to James, who I met in school, and I was the girl growing up that was like, "Oh, I want to meet this prince." You know, it's like, "Where is he?" And it's like, he wasn't in high school, he wasn't in college. It's like, "Where is this man?" That finally, it's like, it's cute because we met in college, and he was flipping hamburgers, and so it was a new student orientation, and he had been there more than I had. So he flipped my burger, and that is the first time that we met. And it was not love at first burger, but it was kind of somewhat close, maybe. I don't know. So that was 25 years ago. We live in San Diego. We have 3 children. We go boy, girl, girl. We've got a college-age son named Ethan and 2 girls in high school. And we're kind of like, how did this happen so quickly? But we have really enjoyed being married. And we have also very much enjoyed being parents. And so we are always trying to find out and learn, like, how can we be more successful at this? How can we, you can rock it at work, you can make a lot of money, you might have a nice vacation, but at the end of the day, it's like, do I get along with these people that I live with? That's kind of, the really important thing. So I've enjoyed so much these years and have learned some things along the way, and I'm happy to share them.
We just talked about that last night. We had a conversation yesterday about, when one party of the couple avoids the other, when you're avoiding your significant other. But we know that you and James have never done that. We know that we don't anticipate that happening with you.
We find each other by the end of the day. So it's so funny, girl. When we were first dating, we lived in Virginia Beach, and we could just spend all this time just looking at each other, right? We're just looking at each other, talking to each other, listening to each other. And one day he said, "You know what I see when I look in your eyes?" I said, "What do you see when you look in my eyes?" He said, "I see the letters AV. Your contact lenses say AV." And I went home and I popped out my contact and I looked at the rim, and they literally did have etched in them AV. And I was like, oh my word, I have found someone who has looked so deeply into my eyes that he sees what my contact lens says. So yes, we do treat each other right when recording. That's for sure.
He was looking pretty hard, Arlene. He was really looking deeply, into your eyes.
That's right.
So you're here to talk with us about relationships overall, but especially and particularly about National Marriage Week, which I did not know existed.
I know, you'll hear things like National Ice Cream Day, or, it's Earth Day, and all these different things, which are all great. But National Marriage Week is from February 7th to 14th. It started in 1996, and it is about the idea of saying that the cause of marriage, that this is something really great. And the more we can support marriages and have healthy marriages, encourage people to have healthy marriages, that has that trickle down effect for children being raised, beliefs and all those different things. And so this is a week that we say, you know what, this marriage thing, it's a good thing. It's good for families. It's good for people. It's good for our country. And we want to come alongside of you and say, hey, if you need some marriage help, there's all sorts of resources available, and that's at marriageweek.org. But you're not alone, like we've talked about. It might feel like, man, I'm the only one with this problem with my spouse, or if only you knew what my spouse was doing, or whatever it is. And to realize, wait a minute, no, these are common things, and we can learn from those who have gone before us.
So when did you learn about National Marriage Week?
Yeah, just about 2 years ago. So it's been happening for a long time, but someone reached out to me and said, do you know about this? Just like how you just found out about it. And I was like, this is fantastic. And if you go to marriageweek.org, you can find like all these statistics about marriage that maybe we didn't realize. You can find date night ideas, okay, Valentine's Day is coming up, and okay, we're going to go on a date, but is it going to be the same date that we've had for the last 10 years? So it's like, how can you mix that up? So there's creative dating ideas. And then there's also a couples connection plan, so that when you're on that date and you're staring at each other like, I don't know what to say anymore, this gives you some ideas, So it's a wonderful resource. You can find marriage events that are happening either near you or maybe somewhere you want to visit. So it's kind of a clearinghouse for marriage events too. So it's a great site, marriageweek.org.
This is all so new to me. So though, from where I'm so amazed that this exists. For how long has this been in existence, National Marriage Week? Are you aware?
Yeah, 1996. It started in the UK, and then it was brought to the United States in 2002. And like so many other things, it's like whoever's talking about it, can only say so much. So it's so wonderful that we're able to talk today about it so that more people can know. But it has been in the States, for 22 years now.
What? 22 years. So somebody's been paying attention. Somebody has been aware.
We need to like help marriages out. And, for instance, every year there's a new theme. So that's very fun. And this year, the theme is love beyond words. And I love you are love and life. So this is love beyond words. And that is, when you say I do, and when you make this promise to someone in sickness and in health, in richer or poorer till death do us part, and you say these words, right? That if it is a love beyond words, then, hey, I'm going to back up those things. I will be faithful. I'll keep showing up for you, and I will keep these vows, even when I don't feel like it, even when it's not, exciting. So much of life is just doing the right thing over and over and over again. And it doesn't feel like, wow, like I just listened to my spouse for 5 minutes. Way to go. But that's how you build a strong relationship. It's all these little steps, love beyond words, that it's not just words, but your actions back it up. And when couples have that, like when you have someone in your corner that no matter what happens, they're going to stay with me, the commitment is there, then you have all sorts of emotional security. You have more financial security. You are less prone to be lonely and all those different things when you have that commitment of a relationship.
Here again, we were talking about that last night, about being committed and about communication.
Yeah.
And we were saying how,
Yeah.
it came about because it was shared with us that there was a couple that had been married for, I believe it was 28 years,
Yeah.
that had not slept in the same bedroom for at least 15 years. So this, now that I'm finding out about this site, this is something that could be helpful to couples who have experiences like that or similar to that, or who are having difficulties in any way. It sounds like there are a lot of resources. But family, for those of you who have just joined us, welcome. First and foremost, you are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Arlene Pellicane. We are talking about National Marriage Week. Well, we were in that moment, but we've got so many other things to talk about as it pertains to relationships. But we're going to take a short commercial break in a moment. But before we do, I do want to acknowledge some of our family members that are checking in. Hey there, Tony. Tony Brown is checking in. It's so good to see you join us. Good to have you join us as well. Harry Wims is joining us as well. Eric Young is too. He's sending greetings. Oh, you love my glasses. Thank you. These glasses are a big hit, huh? Thank you. Thank you, family, for the love. Just thank you so much. He's sending peace to everybody. It is so greatly appreciated. And my love bug, Miss Julie Audrey Ward Carnegie. She is sharing some information with us. I love it. I love it. She shares. Good evening, everyone. We are more informed today than we were yesterday. Regarding Black history, a few changes more needed, indeed. The Union League of Philadelphia has a portrait of Frederick Douglass. Alongside him should be included John Adams, a man who had no slaves. Everyone paid a wage. George Washington nor Thomas Jefferson has that record. That is so true. Oh, Miss Julie, let me tell you, you know that was in my facts because I've got facts stored for this entire month because I'm sharing information all month. So thank you because I am going to repeat that on another day as well so that we can stay informed. Okay, so that we don't lose this. We don't lose it. Again, family, you should know that the phone lines are still open and feel free to comment on our socials. Our commercial break will be short, but stay with us because we will be right back.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a Forward member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a Forward member, sign up, family member, or friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your Forward membership today. Visit wordradio.com/forward or wordradio.com/membership.
How much for the bouquet of flowers?
They are $6.99. Great choice.
Thanks.
For someone special?
Something like that.
Well, if you really want to make a good impression, why not throw in some lottery tickets? Add some scratch-offs to the bouquet.
Okay.
Sure. You give your loved one a chance to win money. If they win, they might even share it with you.
Never even thought of that. You know what? Let me get a few of those scratch-offs for the bouquet.
Smart man. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Keep on scratching.
Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Problem gambling? Helpline 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finish your high school diploma for you and your family. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Want to be heard on Word?
Yes, this is Miss Renee out of Philadelphia.
Dial 215-634-8065 to join the conversation. Outside of Philly, dial 1-866-361-0900. First-time caller? Great. We would love to hear from you. Word is the voice of the African American community, so make yours heard. Please limit calls to once per day. Spread the word and tell a friend to tune in and join the conversation.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Arlene Pellicane, and we are talking about love. We're talking about life. We're talking about marriage and everything, all that good stuff, everything in between. I do want to go to our phone lines really quickly because one of our family members is waiting to join the conversation. Hi there. Thank you so much for calling, and thank you for your patience.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies. I'm currently divorced, and me and my ex-wife, we're still friends. I can't understand why people can't understand about once you decide to part from each other, you can still be friends.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a lot of people have a problem with that. Fill me in. Help me out, ladies.
I think it's so wonderful that you do have a good relationship and that you are friends. I think that's something to really celebrate and speaks really well of both you and your ex-wife, that you're able to kind of find the common ground and be like, hey, we're still in each other's lives. It just didn't quite work out between us. I think from what I have heard from others is sometimes there's anger between them, so it's hard. There might be some unforgiveness, and it's hard to continue to have a relationship. There may be where the other person has not been, whether not been honest or hasn't been showing up, or maybe they've made promises that they didn't keep. So it's hard to stay in a relationship, because even though you're reconciled, let's say, to each other, like I forgive you, it doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, now I'm going to trust you to come back into my life, because maybe they are not acting trustworthy, but I hear what you're saying. If you have two very decent people who still kind of like each other, that yeah, they should stay friendly. But I think in a lot of marriages that break up, there's a lot there that is difficult to overcome to come into a friendship again.
I agree with that, Arlene. I do agree. I think, well, everybody is different and everybody processes things differently. But in those instances, I too believe that there are just so many unresolved issues. So it's difficult for some people to move past hurt or to get, to navigate it with another individual. So I think for that reason alone, you are one of the lucky ones.
Yes, that's good.
You really are.
Thank
Really?
you.
No, you're welcome. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Eric has a question. I should say, James, thank you for calling too. Thank you for sharing that and for calling. Eric has a question. He shares, hello, Arlene. Welcome to the WURD family. Out of all of your many books, can you tell me what your inspiration was for growing up social and Screen Kids?
Oh, Eric, you've given me such a lovely question. Look, you even know what my book titles are. You get a star, man. You get a star. So Growing Up Social was the first book, and and the cover of it has two little kids having dinner together, and there's a white tablecloth, and they're looking at their phones instead of looking at each other, So it is this idea of how do we make technology part of our life, but not all of our life. And really the inspiration for the books was literally, it was kind of the craziest thing. I'll give you guys the real backstory. Is Dr. Gary Chapman, who wrote The 5 Love Languages. He's just an amazing author and a marriage counselor, family counselor, and had heard a lot about people coming in because they're having trouble with technology, with their kids and their marriage, all these things. But he is older and didn't have kids at home. So they were looking for someone to couple with Dr. Chapman to write a book about this issue. And at the time I had, 3 kids under 5, and it was like, oh, you would be a good person to co-author this with him. Would you consider it? And of course, when you as like a starving author are asked, do you want to write a book? You say, yes, I would like to write a book. So I wasn't even smart enough to think about it myself, but that was, that was 10 years ago. And since then we have really seen what a difference it makes when you use books instead of tablets, when you use imagination and you build things and you push back the tablet, you push back the games. And it's very strange, right? Like it's totally not the norm. So our kids right now, we live in San Diego. The kids go to public school, but our high schoolers don't have phones and they don't have social media. They look at my social media feed and they follow the people they want using my phone. And they're just different in that way. And that's a rule. That's a rule that we have, but we have seen, wow, how much healthier and happier they are without it. So a lot of it was our own experience of This
Mhm.
works really well when you are intentional about your tech. We're not tech afraid. Like, notice we are here. We're talking on a microphone. We're not afraid of this. But there are
Mhm.
certain addictive technologies, video games, social media, TikTok, etc., for kids and for teenagers, as I think any person with a pulse kind of knows that that can be
Right.
really hard for kids. So we're showing parents, wanting to inspire parents to say, you know what, you could be the mean mom or the mean dad, and it will be very, very good for your children.
No, let me tell you something. Kudos to you and your husband. Kudos to you and James. I really, you saw my face. I said, "Wait, what now?"
Yeah,
When you
what?
said your children don't
And
have
they have friends. Can
devices,
you imagine? Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In today's world, that is so hard to imagine because it's such a large part
Yeah.
of the life of so many children. I do want to pivot because I want to know about these two books. Well, I mean, these books, 31 Days to a Happy Husband
Yeah.
and 31 Days to Becoming a Happier Wife. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, 31 Days to a Happy Husband. They're both for the wife to read, not because it's only our job, but just because I'm a woman, so I can write to women. But the 31 Days to a Happy Husband, I interviewed 31 gentlemen, from actor Kevin Sorbo to a pastor named David Jeremiah to counselors, and just asked them, what is it that your wife does to make you happy? And so we put those findings in the book. And what I found was I made an acronym DREAM, because when you get married, that's when you're there, you're not like, yeah, I guess this will be okay. You're like, this is going to be awesome, right? You're dreaming about this amazing marriage. So the D stands for domestic tranquility, that your husband wants a peaceful home. He doesn't want to come home and be told what to do, what he's not doing, nagged about this, nagged about this. He wants a peaceful home. The R is respect, that a man wants to be respected. The E is eros, which is that romantic love, that your husband wants that physical affection. The A is attraction, that you're still doing things to be attractive to one another. And the M is mutual activities, that you still do things together. And what we found is if you do these 5 things, that's kind of a nice formula to, hey, your husband's like, this is pretty good. This is going pretty well. So 31 Days to a Happy Husband. And that really comes from, when you first get married, all that affection is going to your spouse so easily. And then when you add children and stepchildren and all these different things in the mix, it's like, all of a sudden it dwindles into nothing, because you're like, all these kids need me. You're a grown adult. Go take care of yourself. So 31 Days to a Happy Husband is really all about, and I think this is such a good thing for Love Month, is don't just think of yourself, but think about the other person. Like, how can I still show up for this person and let them know they're special? And 31 Days to Becoming a Happy Wife is really to that woman to say, how can we rediscover the joy of being married? Like, let's say your husband doesn't bring your flowers, isn't a mind reader, doesn't do all these things that you want him to do. Can you still be happy? Because the truth is, sometimes we think, oh, well, he's doing all these things, that's why I'm not happy. But even if he did all those things, would that really make you happy? You'd probably find something else to not be happy about. So much of happiness is our own choice, and taking ownership for that.
Agreed. Oh my goodness, agreed. I could not have said that better. So I'm curious to know, Arlene, you said you at this one point you had three children under the age of
That first as I'm writing, they're all under 5, probably doing the technology books, they're under 8, things like that. Yeah.
So how did you and James manage? How did you navigate? How were you able to continue building your relationship with one another as a couple, as separate and apart from being parents, and giving the attention to each other that you so desperately would need, and especially now that you have 3 additional human beings?
Yes. I think a lot of it is still carving out time to listen to each other. And when your spouse says something to you, like my husband's a realtor, so he would, obviously all these houses he goes to, they're all picked up. But then he comes home to our house, right? We have 3 kids and there's just like stuff everywhere. So one day he said, do you think we could make our house look like adults lived here and not children? Right. So, okay. All of us, right? Or many of us are like, oh, that's so unfair. We have 3 kids. Like, that's what we do. We just discount like you're crazy. Like, it's impossible. Like, no way. But what if we so this is something both he's really good at this and that I'm trying to get good at it too, is just listening to it and being like, we're going to try that. that's going to mean something to you. So if all it means is from the garage to the kitchen, we are going to make a path, then that's what we're going to do. So it's just this idea that when your spouse says something, you don't look at them like you're crazy, but instead you're like, you know what? That's valid. I'm going to work towards that. And guess what? When you have that kind of attitude towards your spouse, unless your spouse is a really awful human being, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to bend to you too. Cause we're reciprocal. Like, it's just, if someone is kind to you, you want to be kind back, but you're always waiting for the other person to be kind first. So that has been a key for my husband and I, is just the idea of go first. Like be the person to say, oh, I'm really sorry, like apologize first. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, or, I'm not going to get defensive about that. I want to try to help. So there's a rhythm at National Marriage Week also that we talk about that's really helped James and I, and it's connect daily, date weekly, and get away regularly. So even with all the kids, what it looks like is he loves his feet to get rubbed and I love words. So 5 love languages. He likes physical touch. I like words. So I give him a foot massage at night and he listens to me, and vice versa. So we get the touch and the words, and that's just like our daily connection. So it's not this huge thing that has to take so much money or whatever, but it's like habits. They're habits. Like every day we have this little connection of like, how was your day? What's going on? So it's not like, wow, I haven't talked to you for 3 weeks. You don't get to that point that there's a daily connection. And then date weekly. If you shoot for weekly, I think you'll probably get once a month in, and that's great. So they found statistically, when couples were asked, 52% of them said we date at least once or twice a month. But 48, no, I think I'm getting that backwards. 48% said that, yes, we date once or twice a month, but 52% said we don't date, like rarely, like just a few times a year. And what they found is if you date just once or twice a month, then you were 15% happier, that you were less likely to divorce, that you were more happy sexually, that your communication was better. All those things were really boosted up if you just went on a date once or twice a month. So I think what it shows the kids too is like mom and dad need their time alone, and that this relationship is important. Like we will invest in it. Just as, we will spend hours at our kids' plays, at our kids' soccers, like driving them everywhere. We will spend so much time, right? Just 45 minutes just sitting there. That's why social media is going crazy, because you just sit there on social media while you're waiting for your kid. But would we spend that kind of time with our spouse? Like probably not. So really just realizing, wait a minute, I do need to date you like weekly or at least regularly to spend time with you, and then get away like once a year, get away with your spouse, have a little vacation, and make sure you reconnect.
Something else you said that I find really important is about love languages.
Yeah.
I feel that identifying and knowing your partner's love language is so important, that it plays an integral part in your relationship. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. And if you don't know what your love languages are, you can just go to just Google 5 love languages. And it's created by Dr. Gary Chapman. And it really, like, let's say there are 5 different things. So think about yourself. Like, do you like gifts? Is that how you feel really loved? Do you like acts of service, when people like do your laundry for you or like mow the lawn for you? Are you a words person? You like to hear the words? Are you time? You just want to spend time with someone? Or are you physical touch? You just want to get hugged? So for instance, if you have a spouse that's time, but the other one is words, then the time person is like, I have just spent 5 hours with you. How can you not know that I love you? Obviously I love you. But the words person is like, you have spent 5 hours with me and you haven't even told me that you love me. So like they're completely crossing each other, because the one is saying like, you don't even love me. And they're like, I told you I loved you. So obviously I do, but they want time. Right. And vice versa. So it is really helpful to know what a lot of us, we like all of them, of course, but there is usually a primary one that really is yours. So to know your primary one, to know your best friends, your moms, your husband, your children is very helpful, because then you realize, oh, I don't have to buy gifts for this person. They'd rather me just like talk to them. Wow, I just saved myself $10, So.
Arlene. But no, you are right about that. You're so right. It and that's why I said it's so important to identify your own love language as well as that of your significant other, because I do believe it can help in some instances. Well, in most instances, I feel it plays such an integral part
Because
in
we
a
grow apart.
relationship.
We grow apart because
Mm-hmm.
we say, I don't feel loved. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like you love me anymore. And the poor other person is like, I'm trying. I'm
What are you
doing it
talking
in the
about,
right
right?
language. Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm here, aren't I?
That's
Like, yeah,
right.
but. Hey there, family. I'm talking to you. If you have just joined us, welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. Our family members are commenting, and I see your comments. Walt, hey there, Walt. Walt shares, hey, CR, great topic. Black history is an integral part of the broader human story, and without it, our understanding of society, culture, and progress would be incomplete. I could not agree with you more. Thank you. That was stated so eloquently. Thank you. And Eric shares in response to your response to his question. Thank you. That is such good, positive feedback. It's amazing to hear that you have a non-social media system that actually works for your kids. You heard me, Eric. You heard me. You heard me say, what? I love it. I love it. And our beloved, hey there, beautiful Joanne Dormond. She shares, good evening, everybody. She's sharing peace and blessings with us all. Family, listen, you are still invited to this conversation. I want you to know that, okay? So know that our phone lines are still open, and feel free to comment on our socials. I promise I will do my best to read your comment aloud on the air. In the meantime, we are going to take just a short break. So stay with us because we are coming right back.
Tune into Word Radio this Thursday at 10 a.m. for City Council Live, hosted by Ernest Owens. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
Reading is fundamental. The nation's leading children's literacy organization invites you to rally to read. Visit rallytoread.org and help your child pledge to read 100 books by National Reading Month in March. Watch popular authors, read favorite books, find activities to keep young readers engaged, and teachers can enter the Rally to Read sweepstakes for a chance to win 100 books for their school, subject to rules. Inspire the joy of reading today. Visit rallytoread.org.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. Voting time in 2024. Yes, voting time in 2024. I hope you did your best and took a little rest. But now it's time to soar for us 2024. Yes, it's voting time. I said it's voting time. Gather women and men on whom you can depend. Take your friends who won't ignore. Because it's voting time in 2024. Say it with pride. I register, I vote, I must. You may have buttons that say, I register, I vote, I must. Say it on the radio, the TV, the cell phone, or the landline. I register, I vote, I must. This is Dr. Lucille Ijoy. I register, I vote, I must.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Mrs. Arlene Pellicane, and we're talking about love, life, and everything under the umbrellas of both. Eric shares, Arlene, this is such great information for new and long-term relationships. And your energy and knowledge are truly good for the universe. I love that. I love
That's
that.
so sweet. Thank
We're
you.
all love bugs here. We're all love bugs here. So, Arlene, I'm curious to know, and you may not have the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask if you are aware or have any idea of the statistics about the state of marriage today,
Yeah.
and especially as it pertains to the younger generation.
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's an important question because, kids are being told that, marriage, that's optional. You just look at social media, you look at celebrities, and it's not like, oh, wow, being a mom and a dad, that looks really glamorous. It's like, oh, that looks really hard. And so people don't want to do it. And a lot of young people, instead, they're thinking, well, to be happy, I should probably get a good job. Like a good job will make me happy, or to make money will make me happy. And what they're finding in the research is that if you have a college degree, it gives you a 64% boost in happiness. That's pretty good. All right. If you have a higher income than most, 88% boost. If you're satisfied with your work, 145% boost. All right. That's pretty good. But if you're just married, plain married, you get a 151% boost. And if you're happily married, you get a 545% boost. And I think these are the things that we're not talking about, that if you really want to be happy long term, invest in a relationship for your life, invest well. So many people aren't doing that. Like in terms of the marriage rate, it's fallen by 65% since 1970. Now the divorce rate has also fallen, but because the marriage rate has also fallen, that's probably correlated. And what they are predicting is for young people that 1 out of 3 will never marry. 1 out of 3 will never marry.
Oh,
And
wow.
so you kind of think about that. That's just like if it continues on as it is now and projecting into the future. And you look at that and you think, okay, what does that do for the economy? There are less people, here. What does that do to the replacement rate, like the fertility replacement rate of a nation? 2.1 is the replacement rate of like how many babies a woman should have. And now we're at 1.6, so it's pretty low. And you think of it, okay, economy, et cetera, but you're growing up and then now you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you're 80. You don't have children. Maybe your brothers and sisters don't have children, so you don't have nieces and nephews. And then you kind of play that out and it's like, wow, the family's going to get so small. So it is really a call for our young people to consider, like, let's just put this back on the table. That having a marriage like my grandma and my grandpa's and having children and raising children and having children to grow up with, as you grow older, like that's something that might be a really great option for me and something to really look into. So I hope that that statistic will shift, that there will be more, that 1 out of 3, will never marry. I hope that gets a little bit better.
1 out of 3. So, do you have any information about how technology has impacted marriages?
Yes. The Business Insider had said that we are touching our phones like more than 2,000 times a day. So waking it up, swiping, tapping, etc. It is the attention. So just think, where do your eyes go, And it really is, all the cheesy things that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's all true. Like you look at the things you love and
How
you
about
pay
that?
attention to the things that you love. Or maybe it's vice versa. The things you pay attention to, those are the things you end up loving, So I think technology is a huge problem in relationships. They've done studies where they just even place a phone on the table and then people rate the conversation versus if the phone wasn't present. And they all will say things like, I don't think they were really listening to me, when the phone is just sitting on the table, because our minds are like, oh, someone texting me, like, oh, I better touch it. Oh, what's on the news now? And we're distracted. And it's just on the table. So you put that in a parent-child relationship, you put that in a love relationship, and now you're competing against this novelty jackpot addiction device that can serve you whatever you want at whatever time of day. Yeah, that's a little hard to compete with. And so we do have to realize that that's hard on relationships. The technology expects nothing of us. We just get to hang out with it. It pleases us. We just punch in what we want and we get it right away. There's no commitment necessary. It does exactly what we want. That's not how people work, right?
No.
People are like the
Not at
opposite.
all.
That's not how they work. But so technology, it kind of is training us to be lazy in our relationships.
Oh,
And when
absolutely.
things are hard, we're kind of like, okay, we're going to tap out. That got a little hard. But you hug that phone all you want. It's not the same. It's not the same.
It is not the same. You know what? I want to go back to the statement you made about your children not having devices. Was there pushback? Did you?
No. So here's the thing. So if you start when they're young, Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 tracks. If you have a young child and they grow up knowing like, oh, we're not going to have phones, and realize that instead of playing video games and instead they're doing stuff. So not just like staring at each other, they're building Nerf guns, they're 3Ding Nerf guns, they're learning how to play the piano, they're doing martial arts, they're learning, the skateboarding, like they're doing stuff, they're having fun. And
They're
when
being
you have a child,
kids.
they're being kids. And when kids are kids, then they realize like, hey, that is actually kind of better. So when they have other pursuits, then they build up their own hobbies, and then they build a taste for it that, yeah, I could play a video game, but I'd really rather make this instead. My
Right.
daughter's learning how to crochet like all these animals. She's making these giant turtles and giant dinosaurs. And it's like, she'd rather do that. So get them used to this other life, right? Like, it's like the Matrix, like get them out and let them experience childhood. Then they understand like, okay, then when they're told you can't have social media, they're not heartbroken because they have other things that they like to do. And then as they get older, as teenagers, you give them that choice. And a lot of them, like mine, will choose like, no, you know what? If I got that, it would just suck out too much time. And I don't want that. Like I have one that loves reading and I have one that, so it's like, let them find what they love. And it is so it has really been easy. So the hard part is being different at the beginning. But then as you grow up, it's like, this is really great. So my son got it the summer before he went to college. And so people would always think like, oh, he's going to go crazy now because he has a phone. He's going to video game into the night. He's going to become a gamer because he never had it. He's going to watch porn all the time because he never had it.
Right.
And it's like, no, he just kind of continues to do what he's been doing all this time. And now he's got a phone in his pocket. So we have found it's really good. And if you're at the stage where like, that sounds like a fairy tale, my kid's been on social media, for 5 years now, that it's just where you're at right now. Like maybe there's start with a screen-free dinner like that. Hey, we're going to have dinner together. We're going to talk. We're going to have fun. We're going to go out for ice cream. We're going to play games. We're just going to not have the phone with us. None of us. And just have a start because kids need it. Kids need that break away from it.
Do you hear this, family? Do you hear this? And first of all, again, let me reiterate kudos to you and James, because I think that's wonderful. I think that is amazing. And I do, well, you already know how I feel, family. There's no need for me to talk about it. But in any event, kudos to you, Arlene and James.
And this is doable. This is something you can do. And the book Screen Kids will help you to learn how to do this. It has all the kind of what we did. And then we're just really grateful to God because we ask God, help us with this. And he does.
Arlene, tell us where we can find your books, please.
You can go to Amazon, find them where books are sold. My website is arlenepellicane.com. And the books we've been talking about are Screen Kids, 31 Days to a Happy Husband, and things like that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Are you on social media?
Yes, so just my name, Arlene Pellicane. Yeah, you can find me. I'm not on there a ton, but I'm there. You'll see me with my lowly following because I'm not there very much, but I am there.
Arlene, let me tell you something. You are not alone. So Arlene Pellicane, that is Pellicane. Family members, for those of you who are on our socials, I did put Arlene's website address. I did just share it on our socials. Eric is sharing that he totally agrees. Back in the day, when we didn't have cell phones or social media, we kept journals, we read books, and we played board games. How about that? Let me tell you how I still have I have my jacks. I have a slinky. I know you all are saying, what? Yes, I do. I have an Etch-a-Sketch.
Just watch
and
Toy
I have
Story.
crayons.
Whatever's in Toy Story. That's what Carol has in real life.
This is so true, Arlene. That is so true. You just told my entire life. That is so true. Family, hey there. I'm talking to each and every one of you. If you have just joined us, welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We've been talking with Arlene Pellicane, and we've been talking about love. We've been talking about life. She shared with us about National Marriage Week. She shared with us a website, and for those of our family members who are married and want to look into some things, spice up some things as well. Marriageweek.org, to be exact, is a website that you can go to learn about National Marriage Week, as well as to find resources, right? Resources. You know what? Is it a site for singles as well? How about that? I forgot to ask you that.
It's not necessarily, it's not kind of like what to look for a spouse. It's not like that, but you can definitely go on there and it's kind of like seeing what's working, what's not working. I think that's still helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It is. It is. Malcolm, I see your comment. Yes, I do have a slinky. He is clowning me. Yes, I
Right.
do. Yes, I do. If you come to my house, let me tell you something. I have a slinky. I have Uno. Well, I've got all kinds of cards,
That's
board
right.
games. I have crayons. We're going to have a ball. I have jacks. What? What? I have it all. Family. Show your love to Arlene. Arlene, thank you so much for coming
This
to
has
visit
been
with
so
us.
much fun. I've been having so much fun in your family room. So thank you, Carol, so much for having me.
Good. That means you'll come back to visit with us
I
again.
would love to come back and visit with you again.
Good, 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 good. Give your fur baby some love. Give
That's
your
right.
babies some love, but give your fur baby some love. Family, listen, it's time for us to take a commercial break. But you know that I'm still here and the conversation is still ongoing. So you can talk to me, you can talk to Nick. Feel free to give us a call, but also feel free to comment on our socials. And again, I promise I'll do my best to read it aloud on the air. Whatever you do, though, stay with us because we are coming right back. Arlene, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on The Source.
We think that this is all much ado about nothing because we're just focused on our own daily lives. But I am encouraging you. I am imploring you to start reading, to ask questions, to go and go to reputable sites. Facebook is not the place. Black Jesus, 70% of you get your news from Facebook. When I heard that data, I was like, oh no, we cannot continue to do this. There's the Washington Post, Democracy Dies in Darkness. There's the New York Times. There's the Wall Street Journal. There's all sorts of reputable papers that are out here, which is why they cannot die, because they're great reporters that are actually doing the work instead of just throwing gasoline on something and watching it take off. There's so much misinformation spreading out here, not just by artificial intelligence and people from around the world, but by us. And so we have to really, truly ask the questions. Take your emotions out of it and do your research and ask the questions.
And that's the hottest 60 seconds this week on The Source on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Celebrate 65 years of magic with Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. The gifted and gorgeous Ailey dancers thrill with every move in exciting new works and Ailey favorites, including the soul-stirring masterpiece, Revelations. Gather your family and friends and join the celebration when Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater performs at the Academy of Music, February 23rd through 25th. Get your tickets now at ensembleartsphilly.org. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $358 million. $358 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Latrell spent more than 8 years in foster care. His world changed when he was adopted at 15 with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
I think about how much we love him, and I wish we could have had him for his entire childhood.
The foundation is changing the lives of thousands of teens waiting in foster care. You can help. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Finish your high school diploma for you and your family. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Join Evening Words host James Peterson on Wednesday, February 7th at 6 p.m. for Black City Makers, a conversation about cultural heritage preservation at Mother Bethel AME Church, located at 419 South 6th Street in Philadelphia. This program is part of Legacy Reclaim, a 7th Ward tribute, a project highlighting the historical contributions and impact of Black Philadelphians on an area of Center City that was the backbone of our community from the 18th century through the height of segregation.
segregation. This event is free to attend. Please register at wordradio.com/Black City Makers. Can't join us? We will be broadcasting live, so tune in to Evening Words to hear more about this hidden legacy. You can also watch live via Word TV on Facebook, Twitch, and wordradio.com. Join us live at Mother Bethel AME Church or tune in to Evening Words at 6 p.m. next Wednesday, February 7th, for Black City Makers, part of Legacy Reclaim, a 7th Ward tribute.
Let's face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters, like having game night at home. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Hey Lisa, I've been seeing those pics you post of you and your family at all those fun events. What gives?
Oh, VetTix.
What's VetTix?
VetTix is an amazing charity that gives free event tickets, like concerts, sporting events, and shows, to currently serving military vets and their families, and to the immediate families of troops killed in action.
We have extra tickets sometimes. Can I donate them?
Yes, just go to vettix.org. You can give your extra tickets, and other vets like me can sign up to get them.
What a great way to give back. And listen, thank you for your service.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Or baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. That success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So here we are in the second hour of Tuesday. And for those of you who are unaware or unfamiliar, what we do is we talk all things sports. Yes, we do. And with who better than to do so than our guru. Our guru. Yes. Chris Murray is a radio personality, our very own, a beloved. He's a journalist and college professor with more than 30 years of experience. He's covered the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NCAA tournament, the NBA playoffs, and World Championship boxing, as well as other sporting events. Currently, he hosts his own sports show on Saturdays right here on WURD, the Chris Murray Report. And as our resident sports guru, he's agreed to visit with us on Tuesdays in the 8 o'clock hour. Yes, he has, to share all things sports. Family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Chris Murray. Well, hello there.
Carol?
How are you? I am well.
Can you hear me well? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Well, man, it's a lot since because we weren't together last week, were we?
We were not. We were not. I know I was away from the family last week. Don't remind me, Chris. It breaks my heart. It hurts me when I miss everybody when I'm away.
Well, I was hoping somebody. Luckily, my wife comforted me over the Ravens and whatnot. But I'm still mad. I'm still mad, but they lost that in and of themselves. But I'm kind of concerned about the Sixers, and I'm just Joel Embiid is going to be out for the next couple of months, and it's just, man, it's how can I put it? If the key to every Sixers season is for him to stay healthy. They lost last night, and I think last night Tyrese Maxey was 6 for 16 last night, and I don't know. He was 6 for 16, and he ended up with 15 points. And yes, he's not gonna have bad games all the time. I can tell you, but they need the big fella out there, and this has been the concern. This is why when the Sixers were winning earlier in the season, it looked nice and everything, but you kept wondering when is the shoe going to drop? Well, when is something going to happen to Joel Embiid?
I said, remember,
every year.
I said he's not the whole team. I said that. I said my concern is what happens, when we don't have Joel Embiid in full effect. What happens? Because he's not the whole team.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. And they've won some games, but they've lost something like 5 out of their last 6 games. I mean, they won on the road in Utah, which I thought, but then, you're going to have to do something about, somebody's going to have to step up. One of the big men, I think the Maxey is going to give you his best effort every night. He's going to give you best effort. You need Tobias Harris to kind of fill in that role. Kelly Oubre, you need everybody, all hands on deck.
I was about to say, you need everybody to step up.
Everybody's got to step up for that team. And I think they're a good enough team. They got enough depth that they can, get something on a roll. But, right now it's going to be difficult. They're going to have to make that adjustment. Maybe Tyrese steps up, maybe somebody in the middle, because right now all the defenses are going to go to Tyrese Maxey. Okay. He can't necessarily hide if you don't have your big man in the low post. So from that standpoint, they need to do something here, and they've got to make a move at the trade deadline. They've got to make a move. I don't know what I was thinking a good small forward who can shoot and play defense, but now you got to kind of weather the storm with Embiid out. And the thing about it, even if you get Embiid back, will he be 100%? That's the torn meniscus is no joke, man. You get those things, he may not be himself when he does come back. That's the only thing. That's the only problem. I hate to be a pessimistic Philly sports fan, but it's kind of like, come on, dude. They've got to figure out something. They may have to alter how they play the game. They're going to have to run. They're going to have to run up and down. They're going to be a good transition team, and they're going to have to play defense. They're going to have to, get offense off of their defense. And so they, it's a lot. It's a lot that they are going to have to deal with Joel Embiid out with this torn meniscus. And, he had successful surgery, but, you're going to have to, as a matter of fact, that surgery they announced today, and he'll be evaluated in 4 weeks, but he could be sidelined up for up to 2 months, depending upon his his rehab and what the kind of work that he puts in. And so, he had soreness in his left knee in early January. So this caught up to him. I mean, this was going to catch up to him at some point. And, a lot of times sometimes you just have to rest it out. But at the same time, he needed surgery, so it's going to take him a couple of months. So we're in February. He's not going to be back until maybe the playoffs. Now, and like I said, there's no guarantee. So the Sixers are going to have to alter. They're going to have to alter how they approach things, and it's tough. Philly is having a tough time with their sports teams right now.
We've been having a tough time. Oh my goodness. So let me ask you this: with this injury, what was it? His lateral meniscus, right? I think that's what they said. So and I know neither one of us, we're not in the medical profession, but what do you think about him being able to come back from this injury and being the same Joel Embiid that we're used to?
I don't think I'm not optimistic about it at all. Because he got hurt last year. Was hurt last year. Came to the play. As a matter of fact, he missed the first 2 games of the Boston series. And when the Sixers managed to win those games, managed to win the game, but when he's not at 100%, the Sixers are an ordinary team. They just but a lot of fans a lot of fans kept calling my show and they're saying, well, and Joel was having a monster year. He was having an MVP season, and now he's not going to be eligible because if you miss a certain amount of games in the NBA now they're going to basically say you're not eligible for the award. But then again, the best ability that a player has to have is availability. You got to be there. I say to my students all the time, don't miss class. Got to be available. Like I say, that's the best ability you can have. I'll say that tomorrow in class.
You'll say that? You can put that in your pocket for right now. Chris,
put that in my pocket right now.
I'm going to tease you for a moment. So I know, we didn't have a conversation last week, but I know you started tonight's conversation saying, that you had to lick your wounds because of the loss, the Ravens loss. Normally, we'll start the conversation. We'll talk about sports. We didn't even talk about sports. We'll talk about football. We normally lead the conversation with football. I said, Chris didn't even talk. You just said, I had to lick my wounds. My wife helped me get over it. And you went right into basketball. You said, we're not even going to talk about it. We're not even going to touch that. I said,
I'll deal with it though. I'll deal with it though. Because the thing is the thing is, Carol, the vibe on this show is so positive. Now I feel I can talk about it. I feel it's therapeutic. What I mean? It's therapeutic because I can talk about it now.
It's all love here. Come on now. It's all love here. If we can talk to our Dallas Cowboy fans, then it's all love here.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it, the thing is, I felt bad for the Eagles when they were going through their situation. And I just felt like
that was painful.
Felt like, man, it was terrible. And then the Ravens, how can I put it? It's a combination of things. One, I think it was a tough start to the game. The defense guys act together, and then the offense just went away from themselves. They stopped running the ball. Lamar stopped doing his thing a little bit, and there was one play where the rookie receiver, he caught a pass that put the Ravens at the Chiefs' 9-yard line, and then all of a sudden the kid decides to get up to taunt the other guy, threw the ball in the guy's face or something like that. Refs called him for a 15-yard penalty. Still, the Ravens get back down there. Lamar throws a pass to Zay Flowers, and what does he do at the 1-yard line? Tries to reach the ball out and fumbles. And then I think Lamar Jackson. I think, and this is what I'm not in his head. I'm not a psychologist, but I cover sports, and I understand human nature. And the one pass he threw in a triple coverage, I think Lamar hears those voices in the back of his head that he has to win the big game in order to be a champion. And I think he kind of forced one in there. I think that it was just. I think that play was out of frustration. I think a lot of quarterbacks, because, he's going to hear, because I know he heard it from Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. and all the pundits and all this other stuff. He heard, he can't win the big game. But I always remember, I reminded people that Peyton Manning was 2-4 in his first playoff games, and he eventually won a couple of Super Bowls. But the thing is that, until I mean, and he improved. He'll be the MVP. Lamar will be the MVP, and he improved this year. But you got to win the big game. I mean, it's something we complained about Donovan McNabb. He couldn't win the big game. Well, supposedly couldn't win a big guy. He got to a Super Bowl and then didn't play well and play as well as he could have. But it's just that until you win one, you got the monkey on your back. I mean, and whatnot. You got that. You got to win. And I blame the coaches. The coaches, just like the Eagles coaches, I blame the coaches.
We've been saying that. We've saying that the whole season. You brought up another bad memory, that Donovan McNabb. When we love Donovan, we do love Donovan, but when he did not deliver, we were all. We love
Donovan now.
Yes, we do. We do.
We love him now, but
on that day
it wasn't entirely his fault. But when you don't win, and especially in this town, if you don't win the big one, I mean, it's a shame that we have it like that, because there are a lot of great quarterbacks who are in the Hall of Fame that never won a Super Bowl, or to quote the late comedian Red Buttons, never got a dinner. and so from that standpoint, I mean, but you got to win. I mean, and that's going to be the thing that Joel Embiid is going to be held to. You have to win a championship. You got to win. I mean, that's just the. I mean, last year at this time, Jalen, I was getting ready to get my plane tickets, and I was trying to figure out what hats I'm going to wear. I had all my bow ties and all this other stuff, because my friend was a buddy of mine named Daryl Orlando Ledbetter, who works at the Atlanta Constitution, and he wears the bow tie and the hats. We even took a picture together at the last year's Super Bowl, and I was convinced the Eagles were going to win. Jalen Hurts played a tremendous game in that Super Bowl, but lost. And had they won the game, he would have been the MVP of that Super Bowl. I mean, which is why I think Jalen Hurts still has it in him. They got a new offensive coordinator, and they got to basically, and I think Jalen will work hard at it. But when you get to that Super Bowl, it's hard to win. It's hard to win that Super Bowl.
Okay, so to that point, you said, so the Eagles have a new offensive coordinator, but do you think that was enough of a change? Because we had some heartbreaking moments, toward the end of the season. Do you think that was a big enough change? That was enough of a change to make the improvement we need to see happen?
At this point, with the offense, I just think that the offense needs just to refocus on a few things. One, Jalen Hurts they have to get him to recognize the blitz. Don't sit him in the shotgun so much. Go under center, because you can see the blitzes a lot better. You can see when they're coming and all that. They need to establish some type of situation where he will study and see when blitzes are coming and make teams pay. And I think that it's the same thing. I think that they all need to just get back together, regroup, throw last year, throw the 2023 season out as a fluke or as some type of thing, trying to, just throw
as
the
a nightmare.
As a nightmare.
Yes, a nightmare.
oh, that was just a bad dream. We just got to get it together. No, I mean, I'm just saying at the end of the day, they're going to have to flush it. I think Hurts, one thing I will say, I think the problem with Hurts again was, and I thought about this, when Shane Steichen was the offensive coordinator, that was the first time in Hurts' career that he had a situation where he had, 2 straight years of consistent coaching with an offensive coordinator. And so now he comes back this year having to adjust. I still thought at times he played well, but I don't know what that offensive coordinator, I don't know what Brian Johnson was thinking half the time. And some of the things that they just need to, just reel themselves in, refocus, regroup, work on some things, look at some of the film from last year and say, we can improve this. The one thing I am certain of Jalen Hurts is that the guy has a tremendous work ethic. And I'm sure right now he's trying to figure it out. There was an article, in bleedinggreen.com. A friend of mine wrote the article, basically said he talked to some guys about Jalen Hurts and that he was kind of aloof this year. Maybe it was the money, but I think that somehow Jalen has always been the type of kid or young man. I call people kids because I'm just 1,000 years old.
You are not.
I've walked the earth for many years. But what I'm saying is that he has to just work. He's got to work. He's the type of guy who's going to work hard and he's going to get himself together. And I think nobody is more embarrassed about the year than he is. I think he needs to get back with his teammates, whatever, however standoffish or whatever happened. And although in that story, the reporter basically said that he was the least of the team's problems, but it's just some things he has to adjust.
And he had to heal too.
People adjusted him last year.
He needed time to heal as well. I'm sorry for having interjected, but he needed to heal too. He needed substantial time to heal from the injuries that he had that he did not get. So I think that's a factor too that we didn't take into consideration.
Yeah.
Family, hey there. We're going to take a commercial break in this moment right now, but stay with us because we are coming right back.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4Word member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a 4Word member, sign up, family member, or a friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your 4Word membership today. Visit wordradio.com/4word or wordradio.com/membership.
Having low income can mean making tough choices. Choosing between paying for food or medication or a place to live is a reality for many people. Do you know someone who could use some extra help? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI, administered by Social Security. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. SSI is money you can use to help pay for basic needs, like putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, paying the rent. It can mean new shoes for growing feet or help with medical needs. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI to schedule an appointment or start to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. This message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
In honor of Black History Month, WURD, in collaboration with First World Theater, presents Diamonds of the Diaspora, Black political figures and influencers from around the world. Patricia Roberts Harris was a woman of many firsts. In 1965, President Lyndon Johnson selected her to be the U.S. ambassador to Luxembourg, the first African-American woman to hold the position. She also became the first African-American woman dean of a U.S. law school, her alma mater, Howard University. During the Carter administration, Harris became the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. And by 1980, she became the first Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. On May 22, 1978, Patricia Roberts Harris gave the commencement address to graduating students at the University of Pennsylvania.
Urban universities particularly must take in more of the poor and minorities as students. Despite the gnashing of teeth and breastfeeding, despite the denial of admission to competent persons who happen to be poor, we have found that 70th and 75 percentile performers can compete and benefit from a college education. Scholars have devoted too little attention to the roots of the problem within their immediate environment. It often is easier to obtain university support for exotic studies far removed in time, space, and social distance than to gain the means for serious work among people within walking distance of urban teaching centers. A sense of reality about the intercity must be maintained without studying it to death by sending in cohorts of youthful colonists, armed and noblest obliged, and without displacing the poor when the university expands. Urban universities must serve the community as they learn from the community.
That's a speech by Patricia Roberts Harris, performed by Zahara from First World Theater. This Black History Month, we honor the work and political influence of Patricia Roberts Harris. This Black History Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast, the Philadelphia Free Library, and Bristol Riverside Theater.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
And we are back. Hey there, family. Welcome back to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. Family, I see your comments and I'm going to share some of them. Joey Dixon is checking in. Hello there, Joey. He's sending one love and jazz to the entire family. Malcolm shares our Philly sports teams need a break. Yeah. How about that?
Baseball's coming up though.
How about that? Harold says that's right, and I know this is in response to the comment that I made that we talk. It's all love here. It's all love here. He said, "Here we are. We are here. Go Cowboys." Harold, I'm gonna beat you with the wet noodle. You know that I am. And Malcolm is sharing. Well, he's sending you condolences, Chris. He shares that he saw that Ravens game and it was a heartbreaker. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
My cousin Sherry, hey cuz, she's sending some love. She shares that I just wanted to say that I love this segment with Chris Murray. Thank you, Chris. You are the
Thank you
best.
so much. That is so sweet of your cousin. That is
She's
really nice. I mean,
And she has a question. She asks, what about the commercials? Many say that you have to win a Super Bowl to get a commercial. She writes that she's seen a few players that did not win and they have a commercial.
I mean, yeah, it depends on your personality, I mean, it depends. Some guys are better suited for the camera and whatnot. Some guys some guys are just very suited, like me, for example. That some guys are very, very, suited for that, and some guys aren't. And like Baker Mayfield has maybe one or two playoff wins in his career. And you remember those commercials where he did all these progressive commercials and all that, and he hadn't won anything. So anybody can, like I say, you just gotta have the personality. Some guys are just good at being personalities.
Well, how about that? Oh, well, how about Eric has a question. Eric shares, hello, Master Murray. Welcome back. He shares that the FIFA match schedule has the green light for 2026. It's 2 years away, but do you have any thoughts of attending and covering the World Cup?
I would like to, because there's a guy on France that I really like, that I just like, I'm like a fan. The guy named Mbappe. In the last World Cup, it was probably one of the greatest sporting events I've seen, greatest individual performances that I've seen in sports, next to Tom Brady's 505 yards against the Eagles, and the Eagles won. But Mbappe scored 3 goals in the second half. He had a hat trick and tied that game, because it looked like Argentina was going to just win going away. It's just that the French couldn't win their penalty kicks, and they kept missing penalty kicks. I love to cover that guy and whatnot. I would like to cover that sport, just because I don't get a chance to do it a lot. And I would like to cover, just to cover the sport, because it's a popular international sport, and it's played by a lot of African Americans or Afro-Caribbean people, and people from Africa play the sport. And I think it's I think it's a sport that, it generates excitement all over the world. And I always like the personalities. I mean, and the one thing I have learned about myself over the years, I love a good competition. And if it's World Cup soccer, or if it's and Eric knows this, the UEFA Cup and everything, I've seen bits and pieces, and it's compelling theater. I mean, that's the thing. And I would love to be there. I would love to be there at an international event. And the weird part about, I would love to do more like soccer. I love track and field. I would love to, if one of my favorite media outlets would pay me to go to Paris this summer to cover the Olympics, and cover, because there's one story I'm interested in is Sha'Carri Richardson. So, but
we all are.
Yeah. Well, but for soccer, or for world football, and I'll say, and what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to stop being the ugly American, and just call it world football, because everybody calls it football around the world. I mean, we have American football. I like to try to start making that distinction, because I don't want to be, the ugly sort of provincial American that just sees things. I mean, there are some great athletes around the world that play that sport. And I think those guys should be recognized. And there's some players that play the sport here that I think, will ultimately get recognized. So everybody has challenged me, and it's a good challenge to start covering that sport, because it's, like I said, I covered it. I covered that sport at every level but the professional level. I covered high school soccer, college soccer, and all that. So, and the thing is, it's not a hard sport to understand, but it's also a lot of strategy. Sometimes you can still lose and outplay your opponent. And I would definitely love to cover it.
So, why not though? Why not? And Eric has a response to the player about which you spoke. He shares that, yes, he is amazing to watch. I don't even know if he's human. That's what he shares. And
Mbappe is a bad man.
Malcolm shares the Eagles have a Tide commercial. Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey. Okay. And he shares
I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah,
he shares that
those guys were in the washing machine.
Yes, it's crazy. It's a crazy. I don't know who comes up with these ideas, but well, better yet, how they sell these ideas, like how they get everybody to agree to these ideas. And an event. Malcolm also shares that Jalen Hurt was much more hurt than he let on. I'm in agreement. Yeah, I'm in agreement.
I would agree with that.
And
I think he was a lot more hurt than
he was. Absolutely, he was. Absolutely, he was. Like I said, he didn't have enough time to heal from his injuries. Nick has a comment from one of our callers. Hey there, Nick. He has a comment to share with us from one of our callers.
Hey, Carol. Hey, Chris. Thanks for giving me a moment here. Yeah, we just had a caller who mentioned that they think that Jalen Hurts should be allowed to choose the plays or call the plays. They should have more confidence in him as a player. The caller believes that Jalen Hurts should have pretty much complete control over this team, or what happens on the field, I should say. We should have that confidence in him.
I think he should. I think he should have that, because it was like last year they stopped going over the middle on certain plays, and it seemed like when the teams rushed up the middle, he kept maneuvering to the side, and maybe he could have outrun the defense a little bit more. But I do think one of the things I like to see them do and is basically utilize the backs. Utilize if you can't find it on the deep end, stop. You gotta check. You gotta find a check down guy. You can't always force it downfield. You gotta use DeAndre Swift's athleticism in the open field, because one thing that I know about good running backs, you get the ball to a running back in the open field. A running back loves the open field. You know why? Because you can maneuver around defenders. You can use your moves. You can go right through them. You can do that. That shake thing and all that. And I think DeAndre Swift is much more dangerous in the open field because, like I say, he's faster than most dudes out there trying to hit him. And I think that's the thing. They got to do that more. They got to they went away from the tight end last year. They went away from the tight end. They used to do the tight end screens. They did the tight end plays a lot. I don't know what changed in that offense, except that, they've got to learn, and this is another thing, they got to learn to make in-game adjustments. If they're doing one thing, and you have to anticipate, if they're doing one thing one way, okay, well, this is not working. Let's try this. Let's find some plays. Let's find a way. Maybe the receiver does a double move. Maybe you break off the route and you hit the receiver in stride. I mean, I'm not X's and O's and those guys. I'm not going to, you're not going to see me, drawing up X's and O's in my house. But at the same time, you're going to have to, you got to adjust.
That's crucial.
You have to adjust in that game. Like, the one good positive thing from the Ravens game was that the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, basically, they shut Mahomes and them out in the second half, and they didn't let them score, for the entire second half. So kind of like what the Eagles did early in the season, only Jalen Hurts got his team into the end zone. But the thing is that you got to make adjustments. If they're going one way, maybe you run the football, or maybe you do something that's a little different. That's the thing that when I look back on this team, is what I found unfathomable is that why didn't you adjust if they're blitzing, adjust during the course of the game, figure out what they're doing, beat the blitz, boom.
We kept saying that.
What they're thinking.
But also, to our caller's point, and I'm in agreement. I'm in full agreement with everything that you just said, Chris. But also, we kept saying during the season, as we were seeing things in real time, as we were seeing things happen in real time, we kept saying, okay, there's a disconnect. There's something going on here that, they're not communicating, or they're at odds. And I think that's exactly what it was. They were at odds. I think now you all know I was not there, but it is my own personal opinion that Jalen was probably, arguing the whole season to have his voice exercised more. And they were saying, no, you do this, you do this, you do this. I think that was, the greater part of the reason for the Eagles' demise in this season. I really do. I do want to, because there's some things that I want to address. I'm looking at the time. There are like 3 things, Chris, that I want to talk with you about tonight. I do want to share. Smitty is saying, hey there, Smitty. That's Darren Toms. So happy to have you join us. One of the things that I want to address is the Eagles in Brazil. And my cousin, she just asked the question before I could broach the subject. She asks, what about the Eagles to host the first NFL game in Brazil? Do you think they'll win?
I think they'll win. I think they'll win because they don't have to deal with Eagles fans. But I think the only thing that and I think it's a great thing for the league to expand. Only thing I wish, like I said, I gotta hope that my media friends can help send a brother to Sao Paulo and whatnot. And I even take my wife with me too.
Yeah, what you said, and I'll even. You better take the missus. I'll even take her. What? You better take her. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
I'm going to take her because it'll be no fun without her. She needs my quick wit and my knuckleheadism just to be out there. But I need her support and I need her, and all that. But I would love to go. In other words, I'm just saying, this year had the Eagles made it. I kind of wanted Denise to be with me to, because Denise knows how to talk to the people about other aspects of the game, although she knows the game a lot herself. I would love to have Denise come out with me, but I would love to be in Brazil. I would love to be in Sao Paulo and go to the beaches and all that and just have a good time, because there are two things I love in the summertime. I love crabs and I love beaches. I love the beach.
Well, you got some time. September 6th it is. September 6th is the day of that game. So you've got some time. You got some time to make it happen. Okay. It's almost time for us to go to commercial, but I do want to address, Tony has a comment. Tony has a question, actually. Tony Brown, that is. He asks, has any Eagle player ever spoken out about police brutality in America?
Malcolm Jenkins.
And there you have it. And there you have it. Chris was ready for that question. Before we go to commercial break, I have one last question for you. So who are you seeing as the underdog in the upcoming Super Bowl?
San Francisco. I think the Chiefs are going to win.
You do. Family, what do you think? What do you think? I want to know, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? You think the Chiefs are going to win, huh? Okay. All right. Well, family, while we're at commercial break, I'm going to check on our socials because I want to see your response to that question too. Who do you think is going to win this year's Super Bowl? The San Francisco 49ers or the Kansas City Chiefs? Who is going to be the underdog? Who is the underdog, rather? Who are you calling as the underdog, and who do you think will win? Those are two questions I have for you. I'm checking our socials because I want to see what you have to say. But in the meantime, we're going to take just a short commercial break. So stay with us, family, because we're coming right back.
Ensemble Art celebrates the accomplishments, heritage, and culture of Black artists all season long. From jazz sensation Terrence Blanchard to Samara Joy to legendary local ensembles like Philadelphia, Ensemble Arts honors the many valuable contributions these artists have gifted our society. This month, Ensemble Arts pays homage to flutist and composer Valerie Coleman. A distinguished Grammy-nominated flutist and composer, Valerie Coleman co-founded the groundbreaking Imani Winds Ensemble as an advocate for diversity in classical music. She has created innovative compositions that blend various genres. Coleman's influential contribution enriched the artistic landscape, fostering inclusivity and reshaping the narrative of classical music. Even here in Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia Orchestra will feature a world premiere of one of her new works this spring. This Black History Month spotlight was presented by Ensemble Arts. For a full list of offerings throughout the month of February and beyond, visit ensembleartsphilly.org.
This is a trusted space.
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 Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
This is a public service announcement.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Ward's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for several exciting roles, including a dental assistant, payroll manager, and home health occupational therapist. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by Word Radio, progressive Black talk media.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
I think I know what love
Hey there, family. We're back. Welcome back to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. So before the commercial break, I was asking what your thoughts are about this upcoming Super Bowl. I want to know who you see as the underdog. Who do you see the underdog being in this upcoming Super Bowl, and who do you think is going to win? So Malcolm shares with you, Chris, there is trouble in Brazil, especially for married men. Okay. He says Denise might go upside your head. You better be careful. You better be careful. Sherry is sharing, and as
I
we
got it there to keep me focused.
That's right. Okay. Denise might say, I don't think you're going to Brazil without me. So there might not be a consideration at all.
That's true.
Sherry shares that she's got the Chiefs too. She thinks the Chiefs are going to win. And Tony shares Kansas City has the experience of the big game. And their quarterback is like fine wine, folk, like fine wine. All right. So everybody's got the Chiefs. Wow, everybody's got the Chiefs. So, okay, two things. One, Chris, what do you think about this whole? You mentioned Shannon Sharp earlier. And Shannon Sharp said on his Nightcap podcast, the one that he co-hosts with Chad Ochocinco, he was talking about the New York Times, how they began Black History Month by referring to Travis Kelce's haircut, the fade, saying that he invented the fade haircut.
First of all, I'm offended by that for
A lot of
reasons. Because before I lost all my hair, I was the fade master. Okay, I wore the fade. I'm gonna tell you something. When Denise first met me, I had a serious, funky, fresh fade. Okay, my fade in the 80s. Oh my goodness, I was about 50 pounds back then, but I had a serious, funky, fresh fade. No one. I mean, I one of my boys in DC used to hook me up. Okay. And Philly, as a matter of fact, when I was in school, we used to call fade the Philly fade. We used to call the Philly because a lot of cats that I knew were coming down to the DMV from Philly wearing that style. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get me one and whatnot. And so it goes back to the New York. A lot of newspapers, see, this is why you gotta have the brothers and the sisters working at these newspapers.
Listen,
okay?
look, how about this? Well, though, a lot of prominent Black media commentators spoke out about this. Like everybody, as we should have, quite honestly. First of all, it's insulting. It's insulting on so many levels, so many levels. But listen, I don't want to take up the remainder of our time talking about that. I did want to just mention that because I wanted to see, what our thoughts were about that. I just think it's a disgrace, and it is it's just a constant reminder of the country in which we live, because to just come on, and because we're still riding this whole Kelsey story with the Travis and Taylor and all of that mess. So in any event, that conversation that was, for fun and entertainment, that's gone. I want to talk about you and your book. Okay. That's what I want to talk about.
This is my book. This is the name of the book. It's called First Draft, collection of stories chronicling race and sports, spreading race, sports, and social justice in the 21st century. And I use the term first draft. I was talking to, actually me and one of my colleagues at Bowie State, and I was telling there's a part of my introduction where I say, as journalists, we write the first draft of history. So during I was teaching at Temple, and I was looking up stuff to from my class on sports and social justice, and I wrote a lot of stories from between my time at the Philadelphia Tribune, the Sunday Sun. I was always responding, to things that were happening with African Americans in sports. Mm-hmm. And it's a collection of all the stories that I've written, that I've talked about. And the thing is, I'm in the process. There's some updates that are going on with the book, so I'm waiting for my publisher to send out some updates that I will be sending out. I do have a link if you want to go ahead and purchase the book.
We do. Where can we find it, Chris?
Okay. You can find it through Linus Publishing. I just have to. I have to go somewhere to come up with them. I go on my email to find the link and everything. But I'll be posting that soon on on URD and some other places, because I just, like I said, it just came out last week and I started school, so I'm just trying to get myself ready, and I'm trying to negotiate, because I would like to have some book signings and whatnot, and I really want people to take a gander at it, because this is like a collection of stories I've written over the years and things that I talk about, things that I've written columns on about sports in the 20th century. It was also inspired by Bill Rhoden from the New York Times, who wrote $40 million Slaves, and one of his pet peeves in it was that athletes weren't speaking out on these things. He wrote his in 2006. In the last 10 years, I kind of chronicle athletes who were speaking out about Trayvon Martin and about what happened in Ferguson and all that. And I've been kind of chronicling Black athletes and there's mostly commentary. It's my opinion. And some of my listeners who heard me before on the radio talk about these things, about how Black coaches were treated, about I even deal with the space for women and some LGBTQ, though I would like to write about women's athletes a little bit more. But for what I do have, I was basically kind of chronicling the mindset, like in the one chapter that I did on, dealing with women LGBTQ situations, was the fact that with women basketball, people as early in this century really wasn't taking women's basketball seriously. And it was just a situation where, and the thing is, I wish I would have, I was on Comcast back in 2006, 2007. I think it was when Don Imus came out with the whole nappy-headed thing, and I took on that guy Jason Whitlock, and I basically said, some of the things that Imus said about that Rutgers team, that might have been C. Vivian Stringer's best coaching job, and and in that situation, for him to say such things. And so it's a variety of things. I talk a little bit about bigotry, the N-word. I talk about empowerment. I wrote a column on—
Chris, I want to interrupt you for one moment, because our family members want to know. I know the title of the book is First Draft, and you said that we could obtain it through Linus Publishing. Should we go? Is it on their website, or is there somewhere we can look? And while you're looking for that, I'm going to take a caller. Mark is calling to join the conversation. Hey there, Mark. Thank you for calling, and hello. Hey there, Mark. Are you still there?
Yes.
Hi. Thank you so much for calling. We've got just a few minutes left, but thank you for joining the conversation.
Well, yeah, I just want to get my opinion about the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I just want to get my opinion about the Super Bowl.
Oh, please do.
I think Kansas City. I think Kansas City is the best team. I'm going to give it 24-17 KC.
He said Kansas City. So you okay? Everybody got Kansas City. So the 49ers are the underdog in this Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think they're going to blow them out, or do you think it's going to be a good game? What do you think?
By 7 points, 24-17.
Oh, you did see. I did not hear that. You said it so fast, Mark. I know, but I appreciate that. I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much.
Okay, you too.
Thank you. Okay, so Mark is calling it. He said by 7 points. You hear that? 24-17. I mean, that was very specific. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think that it's going to be a close game. I think Brock Purdy has something to prove. And I think that, I had to give Patrick Mahomes credit.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
I have to grudgingly give him credit, but
we do.
He's been a great quarterback. And I just think at the end of the day, he is going to pull that whole thing off.
Yeah, I think he is too. Chris, we need the website.
Oh, you need the web. Okay.
Yeah, we want to purchase your book.
Okay, here's what I'm going. Okay, here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. Right now. I'm gonna try to post a link in the conversation
In the
area.
okay, because you can't tell us the book is out. It's been out a week now. I mean, here it is. Okay, Cheryl, thank you so much. Cheryl Mobley Stimson shares, hire me as your publicist. Okay, linuslearning.com. Okay, product first
Okay.
draft, a collection of stories. Yes, she has shared the link with us on socials. Cheryl, thank you so much. I love Bug. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you,
I'm going to leave.
Cheryl. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And like I said again, Cheryl's one of my buddies, man. She's
our
you
love
know,
bug. What are you talking about?
yeah.
I'm going to
And
say,
and like I say,
you've got to keep
go
us
ahead.
posted on the book signing. That's what you have to do, Chris, because we want to know. We support. Come on now, this is family. We listen.
I
Come
know.
on, Chris.
It's just the fact that there was some updates I was trying to work on, and so I'm supposed to be getting some additional copies of the book. I got to talk to my publisher because it's like people are coming in, and it's overwhelming. But I'm gonna get out. We're gonna get out there. I'm gonna strike while the iron's hot.
Yes,
and
come on now.
everything.
You know what we do. You already know. Family supports family. Family. To that point, Chris, I want to say thank you so much. I miss the family when I'm away from you all. I keep saying it because I want you to know it and because I mean it. Okay, and I have missed our sports updates. Last week I was like, So in any event, Chris, is always a pleasure. Always a
Great
pleasure.
to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you. Family, praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Okay. Thank you to all of our guests tonight. Thank you to our callers. Thank you to you, family, for participating and commenting and all of that good stuff. Happy birthday once again to all of our love bugs celebrating a birthday. Congratulations to Chris Murray on his book, First Draft. You can go to Linus Publishing to find it. Family, remember, we are all in this together. You hear me? So be good to you. Be so good to you, but be good to those around you. Have a great rest of your night and be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. God loves you, and so do I. You put that in your pocket. All right. Have a good night, family.